The world is unraveling. Generals send dark stars across Karminia. Hordes of righteous bring ruin to remains. The Arcanum flux rips apart the very ground we walk on. And in a tavern on the edge of the world, fate weaves the stories of 5 nobodies together to stand against me, against my horde. Their petulance will only bring them misery.
Within the confines of the southern neutral territories of Karminia, within the town of Rogue's Passage, fate has judged 4 adventurers to find their way together within the Mermaid's Call, headquarters of the Barbed Coral. Jorn Cinderheart.
I am a lone gunslinger from the land of Vassenrai.
Ariena.
I am a cleric of Thazarus, and I hope to learn some magic to call my own.
The Professor.
I'm a super awesome warlock with a thing for purple.
And Fartug Hayman.
I'm a sleazy goblin salesman who sells luxurious 10-foot poles.
All brought before Auric, leader of the Barbed Coral, who bargains with them to investigate their hidden vault for any possible intrusion, as their goblin caretaker Scaps failed to report in for his latest resupply.
The Barbed Coral is willing to compensate you for finding out whatever has been pilfered from our vault. We'll also throw in a bonus if you can find Scaps. We would really like to know he's okay.
Without much protest, the group is sent off to investigate, dropped from a platform beneath the Barbed Coral into a subterranean lake sitting in front of a vast stone door.
It did not take me long to test them.
While operating the vault door, some movement in the dark draws Fartug back to the edge of the lake in time to see a shambling mass of rotting bodies clambering to shore.
Guys, I don't want to alarm you, but there may be a zombie or zombies behind us.
A stand is made to get the entire party on the opposite side of the door and bar the undead mob out of the vault.
Zoinks!
Probably run.
A test worth the price my horde paid.
Making their way through dungeons, caves, and locked rooms, the group finds themselves staring at the destroyed and ravaged vault, with a massive tunnel bored to the surface. After taking note of any clues and finding that the perpetrators took particular interest in the vault's second ever compartment, and taking a detour to recover the goblin's scaps, the sound of the approaching zombie horde forces the group to start climbing to their freedom. Returning to the Mermaid's Call, the group is compensated for their efforts by Orc's brother, Mux. And upon learning what was taken, Mux introduces the group to his wife Dovian, a millenniums-old sea hag who owned the contents of the vault's second compartment.
Within the vault's compartment, I was storing one of the more dangerous magical artifacts I've collected over the years. A tome of prophecies recorded by the wizard Octavian Felmorisis.
A manuscript rumored to contain prophecies spoken from the mouth of an avatar of Norn, the god of fate themselves. Such a powerful artifact cannot be allowed to fall into the wrong hands. So the group is contracted to recover it instantly in exchange for healthy payment. Jorn, with goals of his own, makes an alternative plan of payment for his services.
I am here on a mission to claim the head of the warlord Valkragak. Any information on his whereabouts would be payment enough for me.
With a little magic guidance, Ariena guides the group to the headquarters of the Bound Court, second of the 3 crime guilds that runs the town of Rogue's Passage, and now the suspected location of the Tome of Prophecies. Fartug begins distracting a large crowd of guards, while Jorn and the others scale a nearby building. Realizing they can't use it to enter the Bound Court's grounds, instead, Jorn rains fire down upon the guards, while Fartug makes a very slow escape up the tower.
Well, that works better than I expected.
Yes! Burn! Burn!
As the group collects themselves before entering the fortress of the Bound Court, they notice a 5th silhouette of another adventurer among them, sent after them by the sea hag Dovian, Felix Locus.
I am a plague doctor. I travel the land looking for diseases to cure and undead to slaughter.
The party now completed, they travel across the chasmous grounds of the Bound Court's stronghold, and through the clever, fast-talking Fartug gain access to the building by posing as plumbers. However, after being escorted to the bathroom, some of Jorn's tactics to get them access to the building proved to be too aggressive and blow their cover. With a building full of hostile enemies bearing down on them, the party locks themselves in the bathroom to formulate a plan.
We could try fighting, but then again, there was another way out.
By the sounds of it, we're outnumbered. It's probably best just to run.
As a professional plumber, I can say that these pipes, they don't look too big. Really, if you use the Pythagorean theorem, use the sign, no, it doesn't add up.
As a professional professor, I agree with the small green man.
We need to get out of here. We should.
Without warning, in a flash of magic, Felix vanishes from the bathroom, and the party is spurred into action as they hear a single faint whisper.
Get the cannon.
The professor leads the charge, launching the door to the bathroom down the hallway, startling an ogre holding a massive ship's cannon on the opposite end. After a couple quick decisions and skirmishes, Ariena and the professor make it out of the building to safety, while Jorn and Fartug force their way up the stairs deeper into the building.
Do you need the power to save the meager?
Taking a moment to reach out to Thesaurus to ask for guidance, Ariena surprisingly receives a direct answer. The voice of Thesaurus takes over Areena's consciousness and offers her the power to help her help others. However, also explains that all divine power must come from somewhere, and could cause unintended consequences elsewhere in the world, and when that time comes, Ariena needs to take responsibility for what might occur.
Yes, I need help. I can't do this alone. Stars, help whoever it is who is hurt from this.
With the offer accepted, Areena's vision becomes clearer than ever before, and begins to allow her to see the injured and damaged around her, even through physical barriers. And deep underneath the fortress of the Bound Court are dozens of injured and near death. While Ariena engages in a peaceful commune with her god, the same cannot be said for the professor, and his Kalistarian spirit humbled.
Get me the book.
The twisted crystalline form of Humboldt attempts to take control of the professor's physical body, its jagged arms blinking in and out of existence around the professor.
Not right now, you blasted spirit!
Being able to calm his second spirit, the professor and Ariena regroup and make a decision to re-enter the building. The tedious task of scaling the 4-story building to get to the only window begins. However, Jorn and Fartug's time separated from the party was far less relaxing than even the professor's.
Squish the bad man!
Hey, Big Ed! How many ogres does it take to change a carriage wheel? 7!
Jorn and Fartug are chased up the building by a large ogre whose defeat is preceded by a cannon misfire that narrowly skims Fartug, splattering a clerk across his hidden form.
Huh. They didn't say it was gonna rain.
Rushing through the second-floor office cubicles, they bar the door behind them to prevent the rest of the Bound Court racing after them. Coming to the 3rd floor, Fartug and Jorn find a mass infirmary with a panicked doctor as a stray cannonball has just taken out the floor, ceiling, and several patients. Posing as a patient himself, Fartug distracts the doctor long enough until Jorn and himself can sneak away to the top floor.
Look, Doc, my arm is giving me a lot of pain here. This is the worst pain I've ever felt in my entire life. Ow!
Once they enter the top floor of the Bound Court, it takes only moments for the window to be ripped from the wall by a screeching eldritch blast, allowing Ariena and the professor to reunite with the party. Looking around, Fartug uses his patented 10-foot pole to use a hook in his office's fireplace to reveal a false bottom, with a multi-story passageway leading deep underneath the fortress.
Yay!
A well-placed alarm by Jorn alerted the party that the rest of the bound court was hot on their heels, so without much thought, the party jumped into the secret door.
Jorn? Is that you? Thief, what are you doing here?
Underneath the bound court, among cages and cages of people, Jorn is reunited with an old friend from his days in the Vassenric military, a werewolf who goes by the name Seath. As Ariena begins breaking free all the caged and malnourished, the professor moves towards the office door on the opposite side of the room. The professor is the first to find the Book of Prophecies, and to the party's horror, they watch his arm peel open and attempt to absorb the book into his physical body. A struggle ensues as the party attempts to get the book away from the professor, Jorn's hammer method proving the most effective. With the book and a couple dozen followers in tow, Fartug the Professor, Jorn, and Ariena make a return trip to the Mermaid's Call. However, Felix's time split from the party has been no easier.
Who are you?
I'm just a traveling doctor.
Teleported back to the Mermaid's Call by Davian, Felix stares down Auric, now possessed by a Yugoloth, and must keep him off Davian as she prepares a spell to force the Yugoloth out of Auric.
You don't want to do this.
In a desperate attempt to regain complete control of the situation, the Yugoloth attempts to transfer its possession to Felix. In an equally desperate attempt to prevent the possession, Felix reveals himself to be a Doulahan by removing his head and throwing it at the swirling demonic vapor making its way towards him.
I'd be careful what you do. I'll come at you head on!
Caught off guard, the Yugoloth is unable to find a vessel and forced to leave the Mermaid's Call in a cloud of smoke. Davian then carries Auric into the greater chambers of the barbed coral to prepare his recovery.
All the Triton in.
Moments before the rest of the party reunites with Felix, Cavaldian, leader of the bound court, and Desmond, leader of the Emerald Haulers, walk through the door, with no one around but Felix to greet them. It isn't long before the rest of the party enters the bar to face these menacing figures, Fartug being an old friend of Desmond's, and Felix, having already seen one possessed person today, realize that he is not in his right mind, and decides to hold the two men here in the Mermaid's Call. Not wanting his plans to be foiled by a group of random strangers, Cavaldian transforms into a wereborn and begins to try and brute force his way through the party. Meanwhile, the Yugoloth within Desmond realizes Jorn is in possession of the Tome of Prophecies and attempts to take control of him, leaving Desmond free to act individually.
Come on, Des. I bet you 10 gold I could beat that thing before you slowpoke.
Now on their back heels, the Yugoloth is destroyed as it attempts to escape with the Book of Prophecies, and Cavaldian, revealing himself to be a true coward, flees Rogue's Passage. Entirely beat from a long and grueling day, injured and exhausted, the party leaves the rest of their business to the next morning. Leaving the book with Davian and collecting their reward, the party has a couple days before they leave Rogue's Passage, as Jorn awaits his alternative payment. With time on their hands, the party deals with some affairs around town, and Ariena consults Davian about the secrets of unraveling arcane magic.
I understand why this spell should work. I understand how I'm supposed to do it, but why isn't it working when I try to cast it?
After days of waiting, the party is met by a rogue named Regain within the confines of the Mermaid's Call, who divulges that Valkyrgak has made a camp in a forest within the country of Iberian, just west to the city of Mossborough. The party, now with motivation to move, needs only to decide on direction.
North? I thought we were going south.
We should go stop in Talagon, and then we should go to Mossborough.
I have a contact in Sternflaxis. Let's head there.
With a general plan of action, the party finally makes leave of Rogue's Passage, led by Ariena through the high-altitude floating rocks and islands of the neutral territories, avoiding the dangers of the ground. However, no matter how high you climb, you can't escape the dangers you carry with you.
Impotence, failure, disgrace. The one thing I ask of you, you cannot perform.
Late at night, the professor is brought to Humboldt's dream realm to be shown the spirit's displeasure. He promises the professor power in exchange for knowledge, and unable to hold the Tome of Prophecies, feels cheated and scars the professor for his failure.
Enough with this torture! I'll get the book, I promise!
Even without the patrons, gods, and spirits embodying half the party, as an experienced guide could tell you, a trip across the neutral territories of Karminia is excessively dangerous.
There's a storm coming, and we need to find somewhere safe to wait it out.
Nearing the end of their journey, the party is caught in a vast blooming storm, clashing against the floating fields of rocks and earth. Climbing the side of a mountain, bolts of lightning sent rocks cascading down upon the group, forcing them to seek shelter within a nearby cave. Jorn, wanting to push forward, finds a slight crack that would allow them access to continue through the mountain's center, and runs off with the professor in tow. Ariena, unwilling to enter, waits in the cave with Felix.
So, why do you hate caves?
I lost people important to me. My family, my parents.
Well, at least you can have peaceful thoughts about them.
How do you mean by that?
I lost my party a while back. I hear their souls and hear their screams.
While Ariena and Felix divulge secrets, the professor and Jorn are busy uncovering others. Deep in a mountain cave, the two of them find an arrow-riddled corpse with a thin golden crown set aside from its body, that the two take with them. With the storm past, the party makes their way out of the cave, and finally reaches the fortress city of Sternflaxis.
Did anybody notice I'm not here? Hello?
Within the city, Felix leads the party to an old sailor by the name of Tobias, who they are able to hire to take them by sea to Ovberian on his vessel, the Sea Person, for a high price.
All right, now I'll take you for 250 gold and all of your paprika.
Of course, the only caveat being that Tobias's vessel was impounded by a colonel of the Crimson Serpent for public drunkenness, something the party has agreed to rectify once they're all ready to set sail.
Damn, I wanted to cook with that paprika. Wait, what's that?
As Jorn walks the streets of Sternflaxis, he picks up on some peculiar behavior that is somewhat familiar with him, and follows a figure through alleyways and sewers till they meet with more. Conversations reveal them to be operatives from Vassenrai, discussing how to get access to the Crimson Serpent vaults. After a quick tip to a Minotaur guard nearby, garrisons in red armor swarm the sewers and apprehend the Vassenric infiltrators, as Jorn, Tobias, and the rest of the party leave to board the Sea Person.
And there she is. Good as new.
Sneaking through a Crimson Serpent dock and boarding the Sea Person, the party takes leave of the neutral territories for the time being. But one more bad night takes the party during their departure.
Get in the book.
My library card's expired. I gotta get out of here.
Coaxed out by the professor, Humboldt claws his way out from the professor's packed tome to grasp Fartug and fully pulls himself into the material world. Jorn fails to attack Humboldt as it drains memories from Fartug's mind. Angered by being called on for childish and meaningless reasons, Humboldt threatens the party before vanishing back into the professor's packed tome. Feeling unable to trust him, the party apprehends the professor and ties him to the mast, which also allows Fartug to work out some aggression.
I got 2 counts of testicular manslaughter coming my way. Ugh!
My balls.
Taking his tome, Felix's curiosity forces him to pursue the pages, looking for more. And finds it, more than perhaps even the professor knows.
What is this? Interesting. What is that? Oh, what is that?
Crawl to me like scrawny worms, lost children of Karminia. Your swords, your guns, your magic and faith will not save you from us, because we wield them just the same. The chaos within Karminia is just beginning.